The upcoming book is called Love on the Shelf. And we were talking earlier, I was showing off my cute little art. These are the cutest little bookmarks ever. It says, Love always wins. And it's a bit of a battle of the sexes between a lady who happens to own, she's part owner of a romance bookstore with her mom. And he has turned shock jock. He was a radio personality. And he has decided that romance novels are really a bad influence on women. And women are just, what is wrong with women these days? They don't appreciate men. And they just, all I see on social is men being dissed. And what is going on here? We do not deserve this treatment. So, of course, he's on a campaign. And of course, it could have something to do with the fact that his ex wrote a romance novel and made him the villain in it. That might have also affected him. But anyway, so that's kind of, so we get up with this little battle of the sexes. She comes on his show for a debate. And things just kind of go downhill from there. His producer gets out of control. He's got a fan who's out of control. Next thing you know, the guys are trying to do a Valentine's Day strike, which blows up in their faces. And in the end, our hero and heroine both learn a little bit and realize how important love is, and that, romance novels are not evil. That was the bottom line. So it's a bit of an ode to romance and to love and to the women who write those novels and to the stores who are kind enough to carry them. I just think it was kind of fun to do a little bit of cultural commentary. And when I started this book, it was a little bit more on a rampage and defending guys, because all over the social media the last couple of years, it's like, men are evil. I'm so glad I got rid of him and I'd rather be with my cat. And I'm like, seriously? I don't know where you're finding these losers, but there are a lot of really nice guys out there. What are you thinking? And I don't know if you remember, that phase has passed, but do you remember the Choose the Bear, when Choose the Bear was going around? Yeah,
Very
I'd rather,
vaguely.
yeah, if you have to choose between being alone in the woods with a man or a bear, which will you choose? And women are going, I choose the bear. I'm going, are you out of your mind? Choose the man, because then if a bear comes along, he'll, defend you, and the bear will eat him and not you. So I don't know. I just, that's a little cheeky, but you know what I mean? It's just, it really bothered me to see this trend of man hating. And it feels like the pendulum is, when it comes to things between women and women, the pendulum is always swinging one way or the other. At first, it's like, oh, women are just, they're so silly and stupid and incompetent, to, oh, men are evil bruisers, cheaters, rotten scumbags. And it's like, neither of those things are totally true. And to realize how important it is for each of us to appreciate the other. And I think that really is the underlining thing in the book. And I think the other thing is a little bit of a defense, because, as you know, romance is the biggest selling genre of all the genres. It brings in most of the market share of money, and it's the least respected of all the genres. It's always looked down on, and oh my gosh, it's porn, it's smut, it's this, it's that. But a lot of these stories are just basically love stories about people working together and working out their problems. And a lot, and I'm a big believer in happily ever after, happy endings, HEA, because life is out there is hard. And I think it's really nice if you can read a book that leaves you smiling and happy. The characters, they kill the dragon, they conquer whatever, they save the business, they come together in the end and appreciate each other. And I just think that's can be very encouraging reading. So I'm a big believer in the genre overall. I don't write in the spicy end of things. I kind of, I'm staying out of people's bedrooms. I'm not going there with you guys. Sorry, but I'm a big believer in just overall and just love and a good love story and something that will encourage people, because these are hard times and we need encouragement. I don't know how many readers and authors, oh, I would love to own a bookstore. And I tell you, I would, yeah, I think that would be great fun. One of my writing friends does own a bookstore. She was a popular children's book author and wound up buying a bookstore, and she bought it right before COVID. So they had some struggles, but I'm watching her and her life is busy, and I'm going, I don't know if I want to work that hard, but it would be so much fun to have a bookstore that had like a little cafe, and we sold chocolate and we had entertainers coming in. And there are bookstores like that. Story and Song in Florida is one where they've got a cafe and they do events, and they've got a bookstore. So they've got the whole nine yards. And I think that would be fun to have something like that and just have a gathering place for people. We are unashamedly pink in this bookstore. We have pink walls. We have book clubs that meet there. They bake cookies for the book clubs when they come. And when we first meet them, it's right around the New Year, and they've got a big New Year's party that they're throwing. And everybody makes sure that you wear red so you'll find love in the new year. And they're just very they're both the owners and their customers are very good advocates, I guess I would say, for the whole genre of romance novels, as are, of course, as you probably know, romance bookstores are popping up all over the country. And I think there's a reason for that. I really do think people are on the hunt for hope. I think there's a reason that women are just getting sucked into romance novels right and left because they want that encouragement, and hopefully their husbands are benefiting from that and that they're getting all inspired. Come here, baby. I mean, hopefully that everybody is benefiting from women reading more romance novels. I'm a big believer in conflict, not in real life, but in a book. If all they're doing is getting up in the morning and brushing their teeth and doing sweet things for everybody, that's wonderful in real life, but that is so doggone boring. Well, I don't know if I'm ever going to get through it. I'm reading a book right now that is just so it's a huge popular book, and it's just, we're going at the pace of a dying slug here. And I realize that part of that is because there's no conflict. Conflict is what advances the plot. And so if you're going to bring two characters into a story, and it's not the kind of, oh, I saw you with your old girlfriend and now we're going to break up. I mean, it's not that kind of want deeper, something a little deeper where you've got goals and opposition. Somebody once told me that is a really good definition of conflict. Goals and opposition. What do you both want that's keeping you apart? Or what attitudes do you have in general that are keeping you apart? So you kind of have to start as you're building your character. So here's advice for any authors who might be listening. As you're building your characters, you need to know what they want. And if you're going to have a conflict with these two that they have to overcome, they have to want two different things. So in the case of these two, they meet. He's wounded. He's angry. He's out to take down an entire industry if he can. And of course she is in that industry. She represents that. Her bookstore represents that. So we have two very different goals. He thinks these are really not a good influence. We need to get, guys, don't let your women rule you like this. And she's like, we're not ruling you, we just want relationship. And so when you've got those two different attitudes, two different goals, then you've got a lot of points for conflict. I do like to tie a bow around things at the end. I don't want the what did we just watch? Oh, there was this series. My gosh, we hung with this series for 3 episodes, this big action series, and then it had this nebulous ending. And I was so frustrated. I'm going, no, I've stuck with you for 3 series, and this is what you're going to do to me at the end of this. So I think sometimes writers, at least in my genre, they want to know how to, and it's just like if you're reading a mystery. I'm sorry, you don't get to end the mystery with us not knowing who the murderer was. I want to see the murderer caught. So you want resolution. So for me, I want to build in a moment. I need an epiphany moment. I need a time when slowly information has been getting in here, and finally the light bulb goes off, and the person goes, "Oh, maybe I could have been wrong, or maybe I need to change." And then after that, then we have to have the moment when this character says, oh, okay, if I need to change, how am I going to change? What am I going to do to undo the damage I've done? And then after we get through all that, then we get the reward of the resolution where the character goes, oh, okay, I'm going to fix this, and even in movies, we want that big moment. One of my favorite movies, I'm not a big, I'm sorry for Seattle, the Seahawks won. I didn't watch the game. I don't like football. What is wrong with me? And so I'm not a big, I like to play sports, but I don't like to watch them. But one of my favorite movies is The Natural. Remember that movie? Total classic. Oh my gosh, the ending. In fact, I even mentioned that in the book because I just think cinematography, storyline, everything wise, that is the epitome. That's the gold standard, people, where he's wounded, he's running the bases, he hits his final big home run, so far knocks out the lights, and he's running. Ew, it gives me chills in this shower of sparks. Oh my gosh, so I want that. I want that. Whoa, I love that ending. I always want that. in books I'm reading, movies I'm watching, and hopefully I want to be able to include that in books that I'm writing.